to dahil dun sa previous speech. Because I felt like such an emotional connection because yung pagiging pagkababae is also related with Staki Commune. And first, for the sake of the audience who may not be familiar with the term na Mary Sue, okay. Mary Sue is a type of fictional character often portrayed as a young woman who appears to be free of flaws and overly capable. Some examples from movies are, alam niyo naman na yung meme, What Happened, Bella? And si Captain Marvel. Some people criticize her for being overly powerful, and some even say that the male equivalent of Mary Sue is Harry Potter. Now, next slide. Why am I talking about the fictional character if this speech is about my circumstance in the real world? And next slide. Growing up, I saw my mother as Mary Sue. She was an eldest daughter from a low-income family. She was an indigenous woman who was granted a scholarship to take college. And this is her. This is her working as an elementary teacher in our province. And this is me as a kid. Growing up, nakita ko kung gaano kahirap at kung gaano dinoble ng mama ko yung trabaho niya para lang makuha kung anong meron sa kanya ngayon. While next slide. I think we're all familiar with the super mom narrative. Like, mom can do everything. Mom can, like, double the work when she gets off of her market job and maintains yung trabaho niya bilang ina sa ating tahanan. Next slide, please. And for the audience, have you ever guys forgotten to do a chore that your mom asked you to do, tapos nakita nyo na ginawa niya na? How did it make you feel? Anong naramdaman nyo? Like, is it a sense of guilt? Or like, generally, do you feel bad? Nung bata ako, tinatakasan ko yung mama ko tuwing nangyari to. Because, like, natatakot ako sa confrontation. And now that I've grown to be like a feminist woman, I feel like a sense of heartbreak from woman to woman. When I recall the enormous amount of domestic work that my mother has performed while maintaining an income-earning job. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, you may finish it. And sociologists coined this phenomenon to be, next slide, the second shift that a woman has to perform. Pagkatapos ng working hours niya sa kanyang market job, kailangan niya pa rin magtrabaho sa ating tahanan. Kailangan niya i-perform lahat, like a therapist, a mother, a nurse, and a maid for everyone in our families and our society. Next slide, please. Pero where does the tolerance come from? If these women know that they're being overworked, where does the tolerance come from? And in highlight dun sa parang mga points ni Arlie dun sa book niya, next slide please. They say that it's biological for women to be caregivers. It's biological dahil maaruga talaga ang mga babae. Kaya ang lugar nila ay pag-aalaga at pag-exert ng sobrang effort para lang ma-maintain ang ating mga pamilya. Next slide, please. And also tackled by Evelyn Reed in her book is Biology, Woman's Destiny. Some people try to conceal the exploitation of women using biological and evolutionary reasons. And yung quote na, men were naturally hunters and women were gatherers noon. So therefore, it's normal talaga sa ating mga tahanan. And next slide, please. However, these people fail to recognize that in primitive society noon, people were living in communes. They banded together. They were able to survive because of matrilineal clans. They were able to strive because like sa effort ng mga kababaihan to get together as caregivers and also nakalimutan ko. In our culture kasi, as Yogads, ito yung context ako, we were called Mengal warriors. Women were encouraged to be warriors. Therefore, sa panahon rin namin noon, we were encouraged to hunt while also taking care of the children. So yung double na work na yun, it was already in our culture way back then. Next slide, please. However, my mother would also say that, oh, it's tied back to our religion. And us Yogads, we are Christianized Ibanags. Yun ang tawag sa amin. Kasi we were colonized noon, naging ano kami, parang tao ng mga Spaniards noon called Kamarag. And next slide, please. However, is the Bible actually the absolute word of God? Is this, yun ba talaga yung sinabi nga? Example sa mga verses na ito is like, verses that people use to justify yung submission ng babae sa kanilang asawa. Like, example ito, even yan. And next, wait, huwag na wala. But people fail to realize that these were words written by men, inspired by God. That is the Bible. It's a collection of faith confessions. And people don't take into account that the Bible was retranslated over and over again to fit the current zeitgeist, to uphold yung patriarchal structure sa ating mga churches. Next slide, please. However, kahit anong sabihin ko sa nanay ko, like, Ma, why are you able to tolerate so much of this workload? Natural ba talaga ito sa mga babae? She would say yes. She would say yes, that in every possible outcome, natural na doble talaga ang trabaho ng babae. And that led me to question, even as young as I was preteen, that is a woman's fate actually servitude? Kahit anong gawin ng babae, ito lang ba talaga ang kanyang outcome? Next slide, please. And in our language, she would tell me, "Ama mga tawatara, katipog sa'yo ako ano." Which means, when you get married, this is how it'll be for you too. And next slide, please. And of course, nung nasa isip ko noon, I was not taking that shit. That was the reason why I parang relate talaga ako sa speech ni Jong kanina. Because I purposely pulled myself out the dating scene because of this fear. If I get married, I would be like, sobrang napag-martyr ko na sa trabaho. Bakit ko gagawin yun sa lalaki? However, this also comes with the recognition that not all women share the same context as my mother. Because nung bata ko, chronically online ako, nasa bahay ko lagi, yung mama ko talaga yung nakikita ko when I was growing up. Pero as I've been exposed to social media, next slide, there has been a recent trend, which is like the trad wife movement, wherein women try to expound na ayaw na nila sa kanilang market jobs, ayaw na nila, gusto na nila mag-pull out sa labor force, and they're advocating that women no longer want to work. Which is like, yung line na yun, it's so infuriating, because women way back then had to fight for the recognition that the unpaid domestic work that they were doing was actually work. And next slide, please. Ito, ganyan yung mga propaganda na nakikita ko online, usually. And if you know this story from TikTok, it's like the notorious trad wife story. Like, this girl was actually stopped and coerced being yung wife niya. And then, I find this movement so paradoxical because, number one, it recognizes that capitalism and a patriarchal society are oppressive forces. But the way these trad wife women do it is that they revolt against yung produkto ng kapitalismo, na individualismo, na pag-exploit ng human labor that causes them to have time inequality, time for themselves, and time to bond with their families. They were lacking because of a capitalist structure. Pero the way they revolt is that they uphold naman yung patriarchal sa ating mga pamilya. It's like, you're shooting yourself on the leg. That's how I see it. Next slide. And with that realization, it's not necessarily the case for women like me, indigenous women like me. How alike is my context as a Filipino indigenous woman to a Western woman? How alike is my context as a proletariat to an aristocrat? Kasi, yung napapansin ko, women preach aristocracy and not returning back to the confines of the domestic sphere. Okay? And how do you put this context in the Philippine society? According to PSA, ganito ang gap ng female labor force participation rate. It's almost 30% compared sa mga lalaki. Meaning that some of these women didn't have the choice. They didn't have the choice to leave yung confines nila sa domestic sphere. Some of them didn't even have the choice to perform both responsibility, to be a working woman and to care for their families. Na isasolo nila lahat ng trabaho na yun. And furthermore, this causes a greater disparity between men and women when it comes to time, when it comes to finances, and generally sa kanilang resources bilang individual. Right? However, many Filipino women have accepted this standard. Like sa mga pamilya natin, is it the same for all of you? Na majority ng domestic work ay kinukuha ng babae. And according sa research ni Belgian and Fernandez, women have, parang nire-replicate nila kung anong nakita nila ng bata sila. My mom oversaw this with my grandparents, therefore she thinks na normalized too. Next slide please. And she even tells me, yoga to. Maguguwa mo yung ako ano to nanalay, kaya mawarara atawag. Te warara ang pamilya, tataw nuno ako ano. And she delivers it in a way na lahat ng mga babae sa pamilya namin, they believe this kind of doxa. Napapasa ito henerasyon ng henerasyon na ang babae, ito ang gampanan mo. Ito dapat ang gawin mo. Na kaya mo itong trabaho na to, na kaya mo exert so much endurance sa exploitation ng iyong labor dahil babae ka. Next slide please. And this shifts my question from what if I was a Mary Sue for a day to what if I was an independent woman like my mother. I saw my mother treat herself as an independent woman because she was able to endure so much exploitation for her labor. My mother taught herself as a strong independent woman because she feared imposing yung domestic work na yun sa kanyang asawa, to my father. She feared asking for help. But yun nga yung pag-iisip niya bilang malakas is being able to tolerate yung kalbaryo niya. Yun ang nakita ko sa akin ina. Next slide please. But I'm not like that. I'm not able to tolerate that kind of workload. I'm not able to endure yung ganun katatrabaho sa kanya. Nah, it's never like me. And next slide please. However, kung kakayap ko dito, ano naman magagawa natin? Like, kung ito na yung standard, ganito na ba talaga? Kung hindi magreklamo ang mga babae, ganito na ba talaga ang normal? Next slide please. And I call for the destruction of gender division sa domestic work and childcare. Have you ever noticed na sobrang ang laki ng disparity ng maternity at paternity leave? Well, setting aside yung physical and mental exhaustion ng panganganak ng babae, why is it manifesting in our institution na ang mga lalaki, minsan-minsan lang sila mag-aalaga? Minsan lang sila sa bahay dahil mga lalaki sila. It creates a dissonance between men and their children. And I saw this manifest with my father too. He didn't know how to show affection sa kanilang mga anak. And we can incite this shift out of the gender norms to providing care policies. Fund yung daycare natin. Where are the care infrastructures for women para ma-encourage, para na masira itong gender gap between men and women? And lastly, what can we do within ourselves ngayon is stop masculinizing women to be recognized as strong and capable. Hindi ka strong and capable woman dahil kaya mo yung paghirap mo. Ikaw ate, nahihirapan ka na ba? Kayo doon, nahihirapan na ba kayo? Oh, bakit yung kinikimkim? Do you think that's what makes you a girl boss? Oh, di ba? I fight for destroying individualism sa movement of feminism. Because it's not a standalone movement. Women were cohesive noon. They were rallying sa streets together. Pero ngayon, dahil expansion na ng industrialismo tapos ang digital age, na lumalaganap na ang individualismo, saan na ang cohesion ng mga kababaihan? And next slide. Lesson learned, gawin niyo na yung inuutos ng mga nanay niyo. That's all. Thank you.